So we're doing something different this year. We're having what's called a story slam. And it is really based on being a doctor from Annals of Internal Medicine. So we have some participants here who have volunteered to do a 5-minute story ahead of time. They have sent in their scripts and they'll be reading from it. So the first storyteller we have is Dr. Ghavami. He is a PG1 at Capital Health, and he has an interesting story to share with all of us.
So the title of the story initially was Bring Your Parent to Work Day. Like you guys bring, people bring their kids to work day. So this was Bring Your Parent to Work Day. And what happened was my mom was actually admitted to our service. And about 2 weeks later, Dr. Hassan sent this, email out that, if you have a story and, you should share it. So the first thing that came to my mind was this little piece that I wrote. So, all right. So we all tell stories to each other every day when we present a case to one another during the rounds. It's a story of an ailment, a story of a discovery or a cure, the story of hope, luck, laughter, or loss. Many of these stories are a routine part of our daily lives. We forge personal bonds with our patients, and we often hear their stories. Some of these stories have a familiar tone. Some strike close with our own experiences, and some are too far to grasp. Many years back, I heard a toast at a dinner party that stuck with me today. It was very simple, very sweet, and very familiar for many of us. It is, here is to health, wealth, and happiness. Wealth and happiness are easy to part with, but health is the one wish that our profession wrestles with each and every day. Perhaps we have grown immune to the suffering of the patients and their families. Side effect of our career, one may say. But this immunity is rapidly washed away when the patient is a loved one. Now the statistics of mortality and immortality take a different twist, does a crazy dance across the paper, and gets a life of its own. We quickly speed through the charts and the data, battling the percentiles for another 10th or the 100th, trying to find flaws with the data, all in a wish for everlasting health. Many of us have lost a loved one, and by no means I'm alone in this crazy dance of life. But the storytelling of our day takes a different road when the patient we're presenting is our parent or child. Now the story is more personal, it feels more real than anything else, and the patient is not just another name on our list. The feeling of hopelessness is an unavoidable void. I may be an unseasoned physician with little experience in life of medicine. I may have not grown immune to the suffering, but that does not make this feeling naive. It has been too often that I had to make a defeated patient comfortable in his or her last pages of story. I have found the patient and family vulnerable, hopeless, and defeated. But mostly, I have found myself vulnerable as defeated just as much, if not more. I begin to think of the moment that I will be that family member, and the defeated patient is my loved one. I find myself sharing a tear with the family, exposing my vulnerability to them, and becoming a part of their story. But in that moment of loss, I feel the silver lining. Again, I find joy in my work, that the life goes on, more work is to be done, more battles to be fought, and more stories to be told. I wipe my tears of defeat, put on my assuring smile, and grab another story to read. Randy Pausch, the mesmerizing Carnegie Mellon professor who lost his battle with pancreatic cancer, on his last lecture said that in life we cannot change the cards that we are dealt, just how we play them, just how we play the hand. I may not be able to change the cards of my mother's health, but I can change how I play the hand. Every patient is my loved one. Every patient's story is my story. Our book of life is filled with these stories. Some have a sweet taste of victory. Some are marred with defeat. Some are filled with joy, and some are empty with sadness. But this is the book that I would never sell, stop writing, or stop reading. As the Persian poet Sebehri said, our job is not to discover the mysteries of the red rose, but to swim within it. Here's to health, wealth, and happiness.